Diesel oil, for so many jobs the obvious fuel, in so many places the only fuel. And the Land Rover, the sturdy vehicle for which no job is impossible, no place too difficult. What could be more natural than to bring the two together? After 10 years of successful Land Rover development, a worldwide success, for 75% of the Land Rover output goes overseas, the Rover company decided the time had come to expand their horizons still further. More and more jobs are being found for the Land Rover to do, and it is meeting every new demand with great efficiency. One step more was needed to make the Land Rover the truly universal vehicle, namely to produce it in both petrol and diesel versions. And that is what the Rover company have done. From now on, you can buy a Land Rover to run on the fuel of your choice. The new power unit is a diesel engine with a difference. Designed for the purpose by Rover engineers, it had to meet one basic requirement about which there could be no compromise. Its performance and reliability had to be in every way equal to that of the petrol engine, and yet fit into the same chassis. Rover inspection and testing is as rigorous as in the world. Now, the standards demanded for a fine petrol engine were demanded all at once for a brand new diesel. Quite a problem, even for the best of diesel designers, but the Rover men solved it. They produced a rugged 4-cylinder, 2-litre power unit, developing 52 brake horsepower at 3,500 RPM, and in every way the equal of its petrol-driven cousin, and yet so efficiently planned that it could be sold at a highly competitive price. For the engineer, a fascinating challenge met, a problem conquered. But for the customer, who already knows the unequaled reputation of the petrol-driven Land Rover, the new version differs in one way, the type of fuel he uses. Anything the petrol version can do, the diesel version can do just as well. The farmer, the builder, the contractor, at home or overseas, merely chooses his version to suit his particular fuel situation. All his other requirements, his Land Rover will meet as imperturbably as ever. The Land Rover, a thoroughly British product, is like the type of man Britain's countryside has bred for centuries past. Strong and skillful in tackling the hardest job of work, yet on social occasions, smart enough to hold his own with dignity and self-respect. And in these crowded days, when a vehicle may be called on to combine the functions of a truck and a car, that is very important. Clean lines are the necessary adjunct to steady performance. Royal event or local celebration, wherever men and women of the open air gather together, people used to judging quality in terms of performance, however exalted the occasion, at such places the Land Rover has long been a familiar sight. Nor are they present merely to carry the spectators. Once again, the Land Rover proves its worth. A vehicle powerful enough to pull a horse box with comfort, yet small enough to be easily maneuvered, is a godsend at these events, where there never seems to be quite as much parking space as is needed. And the occupant of the horse box might well add his own reasons for preferring a Land Rover. He naturally likes a towing vehicle that runs quietly and smoothly, so that he arrives fresh and unflustered, in a fit state to give of his best. This may not be your idea of the kind of event at which one expects to see diesel-driven vehicles, but why not? Petrol or diesel, the Land Rover looks the same and does the same job. But after all, the Land Rover, like even the most socially active farmer, exists primarily to do a job of work. And, we cannot stress it too often, whatever the Land Rover has proved useful for, which seems to be practically everything, the new diesel version can cope with equally well. The diesel version, of course, has all the transmission, springing and chassis features which have made the petrol version so popular with men who have work to do. The strong aluminium body is ideal for a vehicle which has to carry a surprising variety of loads. No corrosion, no rusting in corners, no constant laying up for repainting to keep deterioration at bay. Another important consideration that, in places where every vehicle is needed every day, the Land Rover, petrol or diesel, is the most reliable vehicle in the world for these day-by-day jobs which are the bulk of any business, whether it's a farm or a factory. There's always the unexpected problem, the awkward load that just won't be loaded, for instance. Time and again, it's the versatile Land Rover that provides the answer. With its 8 gears, its 4-wheel drive, its sturdy winch, its power takeoff, it can do anything but knit a jumper. Though perhaps even that's only because nobody has ever asked it to. Yes, you're right. The diesel version could have done the job just as well. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the diesel version? There is certainly no difference in outward appearances. Rough ground is all in the day's work for the Land Rover, and as for getting bogged down and needing help, well, it simply can't happen. And as for all the little jobs which take up so much time and energy around a farm, for these, the Land Rover is as good as a mobile workshop, eliminating the need for many expensive power tools which can be used for one purpose only, and are therefore uneconomic. Talking of economy, of course, it's jobs like these which bring home the full value of the diesel-driven Land Rover. For it's not always practical, however convenient it may be, to replace a diesel-driven power tool by a petrol-driven unit. Driving, of course, is just as easy with the diesel version as it's always been. So if your wife, like thousands of others, finds the Land Rover useful for shopping, she'll find no difficulty in handling the diesel version. By the way, how handy these vehicles are when parking space is limited, see any country town on market day. Thorough testing is the hallmark of a good motor manufacturer, and the Rover company proudly claim that their system of testing is second to none. Inspection before assembly and during construction is meticulous and continuous, and before any Rover vehicle leaves the company's hands, it undergoes at least 20 miles of careful road testing. To ensure standard conditions, absence of other traffic, and safety for the public, the company have built their own test circuit close to their Solihull factory. Having such facilities at their disposal, the Rover company can be sure that any claim they make for their products is not a hopeful prediction, but a proved certainty. So when the Rover company announced that their new diesel Land Rover is fully equal to the high standards set by the petrol version, they know they're stating a fact. They've proved it.